Hello again. One hates, of course, to stereotype people according to gender, social class, ethnicity, or nationality. But sometimes certain incidents are drearily predictable, and once one hears the details, it is possible to make certain general predictions about who might be responsible for various activities. This is, I am afraid, particularly so when it comes to crime. We all of us love to play guess the ethnicity when we hear about somebody being beheaded or a paranoid schizophrenic embarking upon a stabbing spree. The latest example of this comes from the Channel Islands. The island of Sark is probably the quietest, most peaceful and law-abiding place in the whole of the United Kingdom. There are, after all, only about 500 inhabitants there, and not a single policeman actually lives on the island. There's no cars on Sark, and no airport either. One has to get there by boat, usually from Guernsey. The thumbnail to this video shows this singularly dull place, which has nothing really to recommend it, other than the fact that it is quiet, crime-free, and has exquisitely beautiful scenery. Cases of aggravated burglary there are, as one can imagine with just 500 people living on the island, vanishingly rare. I mean, everybody knows everybody else. The idea of robbing your neighbour under those circumstances would really be a little outlandish. Of course, some visitors to the island of Sark bring with them their own peculiar customs and way of life. Rather than adapt to the slower pace of life in a place where there are no cars and everybody gets on well together, some people find the place is a little too slow for them, and so they long to recreate the kind of excitement which they are used to back home. So it was perhaps only natural that when Ahmed Hussain, Abbas Ahmed, and Omar Sharif found themselves on Sark the other day, the slower pace of life on the little island wasn't at all to their taste. It was all too quiet and not a bit like the vibrant street life which they knew so well from their own hometown of Slough. What could they do to make themselves feel more at home in such a dull place? Well, a spot of aggravated burglary would be the perfect diversion to liven the place up a little. By invading somebody's home, menacing the occupants, before carrying off all they could stuff into a couple of holdalls in the way of mobile phones, laptops and so on, they would feel that they might be back in Slough. Alas, Sark may not have any police officers, but they're able to call for assistance from the police in Guernsey, and the three men soon found themselves in a cell. This seems a harsh way to treat some holiday makers who were guilty only of bringing to the island a little of the traditional cultural practices which have made Slough such a delightful place to live. It is to be hoped that they are accorded lenient treatment, for they didn't actually kill anybody in the course of their light-hearted antics. You would have thought that anybody living in such a dead and alive hole as Sark would have been grateful to have a little excitement introduced into their lives, but it seems they're a dull and humourless bunch in that part of the kingdom. As usual, I give a link to the news item about this case in the description to this video.